So where were you this offseason?
I didn't spend too much time in Utah, sadly. That was probably the one place I feel like I missed. But I did see my family and stuff, but lots of places for sure, but mainly out here in LA.
What's it been like about where you were a year ago, getting ready for the draft, to now having looks like a very fun start to your offseason?
Yes, it's kind of surreal. Like I had the opportunity to kind of follow Coop through this kind of off season, so it's been so funny when I tell him like a year ago, like not that we didn't know who each other were, but I had one text from Cooper Kupp saying, "Hey, congratulations! I can't wait to get to work with you." And now I spent the last couple months up at his house, being able to work with him and get to interact with him every day through my first season and through this first part of the off season. So. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of surreal to think that I wouldn't consider us best friends, but I think I'm close to. I got to be considered in the close friends relationship for sure.
Are you in the green Instagram bubble?
That's what I was saying. That's why the close friends. I'm like, if Coop had a close friend story, I would hope I make the cut.
What are the workouts like? Can you kind of take us through what the plan is? And then obviously you had such a physical workload last year. What kind of protection are you taking this year?
Coop was ready to get to it right after right before the Super Bowl. He was already starting his integration to getting ready to work out, but a lot of mobility stuff in the first part of our warm up, and then just continue to stay explosive. A lot of top end speed that we're working on, and trying to, like, his conditioning days were some of the tougher ones. I remember the first week I came back, I think I threw up every day of the week, and he wasn't the fan of that because it was on his lawn and stuff. It's not like we're here at the facility. It's like, oh, you're throwing up in my bushes, Puka. Thanks. Like, but it was super fun, and then like to come back in today, it felt like it didn't miss a beat. There was a kind of idea of like, I don't know what I'm going to do for the off season, but following Coop's plan made it super easy and centered me in the right way.
Does that involve nutrition at all?
No, not too much. I think Coop, he would definitely advise me not to eat McDonald's as much as I did kind of during the season. He wasn't a fan of that, but figuring out, it allowed me, because of the consistency of our workouts. I knew I'm not a big breakfast person. I love breakfast food, but not eating before our workouts and getting my protein and my meals in after I work out, and then kind of judging the day out from there. But my nutrition definitely did change after starting to work out, because I was like, hey, I can't keep showing at 6 a.m. and throwing up every day. So I was like, maybe I'll wait to eat after.
Besides those workouts and that approach to the off season, how else have things changed for you just with the, I guess, increased expectations probably people have with the record-setting rookie year and all those things that have come?
I guess it was kind of nice and to be able to follow Coop and not necessarily not think about football, but Coop is one that I feel like I'm trying to still reach Coop's expectations, because he's set the standard for us in the wide receiver room, and I think for a lot of receivers in the NFL. I mean, to be the Triple Crown winner. I just mentioned to him this not too long ago, like, I don't know how many wide receivers are on a Super Bowl MVP. So like the standard is still set very high, and I don't think I'm close to reaching it. But it made it fun because I know that there's more to grab. I feel like it was last year was so much fun and I learned a lot, but there's still so much stuff on the table, especially Coop is the mastermind of running routes. He was very open and honest with me and where I can improve. So it was a huge blessing.
You guys had are regarded as a very successful draft class last year. Collectively, what were your recollections coming in as a group last year, and what maybe your expectations were?
I just felt like we were young. Like the way we saw how I think we had 43 guys, rookies total with our drafted and undrafted last year. I just remember thinking like they're trusting that there was a leap of faith for our organization to trust kind of some of the young guys. The opportunity was good to be set up for some of us to be able to play and take advantage of that opportunity, and it kind of worked out. But I guess it was just a belief that they believed in us. They wouldn't have taken so many young guys if they didn't believe. There's now that I'm aware there's a lot of people wanting to play football, so to be the people that they trusted in, it meant a lot. And it was kind of subconsciously, not really paying attention. They didn't come out and say, hey, we believe in you, but just to have that little bit of inch that you take and then to roll with it.
And I know you just got here, but what do you think it's going to be like without Aaron's presence around anymore?
Definitely different. I can say that for sure. It's gonna be. We're gonna have to find a new way to find an enforcer who is so friendly, but an enforcer at the same time. And then just to find that consistency. And I think at least for the offensive side of the ball, I mean, we look at guys like Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp who have set the standard of consistency and what it looks like to be the best of the best. So I know AD has influenced everybody on that defense, especially Ernest on the other side being the kind of the guy who's the right under AD while he was here. So excited to see because he has that enforcer role, and he maybe not smile as funny as maybe AD is sometimes, but we got the guys to lead everybody else.
Sean mentioned last year a couple times, especially near the end of the year, and you were obviously still super productive, but I mean that had to hurt at a certain point, just with a 17-game plus season, and then experiencing NFL football, car crashes in sequence for the first time. And you're like, Sean mentioned a couple times, hey, we gotta collectively as a group figure out ways to protect him to make sure that this is sustainable for you. You've outlined a little bit of your nutrition and your workout plan, but when you look back at kind of like what you were experiencing last year, what can you share with us about that time and kind of taking that and moving forward into the second year?
Yeah, the mentality from last year was one day at a time. I just think that I could never really think about Sunday until I was waking up Sunday at 9 a.m. or most of our games are at 1 o'clock. So I was like, okay, my wake up time on Sunday was pretty consistent. Like I know where I'm headed. I know where my mindset needs to be. But I guess another step in the recovery phase was like that was something I saw Coop of. As much as we were working out hard in the off season, he was recovering just as hard of taking the nutrition into, but having people who do body work outside of the facility and finding ways to constantly recover. If I'm going to have a 2-hour workout period in the 22 other hours of the day, like how else can I recover? How else can I gain an advantage and stuff like that? So recovery has been I feel like I want to say recover just as hard as I'm working out. And that was the mindset I didn't have before, but it definitely took a new meaning and be able to feel refreshed because I kind of said it earlier, but it didn't feel like there was an off season of like, hey, we're not doing football. We were right back into it, but it's made it fun because I feel refreshed and excited to be back in the facility, but my body feels renewed and re-energized.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, feel your body changing a little bit in that regard?
Yeah, 100%. Feeling like I feel like a little bit more compact in my frame. I've lost a couple pounds, but feeling like I have more strength in my frame and I'm ready to endure what's going to come.
Puka, a lot of receivers make a jump from their first year, second year because now you're working out in the off season and you're not training for the draft. But you put up, obviously ridiculous numbers in your rookie season. So how do you kind of go back and do that again and kind of work towards that?
I guess to break the rookie record wasn't a goal of mine. I guess to look back at the last season, and my goal was to be there every Sunday and for my team and to show up in the ways that they're going to ask me. And that's something I've set for the standard for myself is to play in all 18 games of the regular season and to be ready and healthy enough to play in the playoffs. And that's what I feel like has been very in the forefront of my mind. I try to control the things I can. I led the league in drops, so I know I can correct those mistakes and being able to watch the ball and more and to snag every ball that comes my way. But I guess, it wasn't necessarily a goal, so to be ready and prepared every Sunday is the goal that I have.
You mentioned you lost a couple pounds. Where are you at now?
I'm probably around 210 pounds right now.
And that's where you want to be once the season starts?
I believe so. I feel really good right now. I think it'll be nice to kind of get back into running routes and some more football movements and kind of see where the weight varies, whether I drop or add a few more pounds, but I feel really good where I'm at right now.
Last one back.
After having such an explosive rookie season, are you expecting teams to game plan for you? Are you anticipating double teams? And how do you prepare for that?
I think of the one time, where I received a double team was Week 18 against the 49ers. So I would like to say, the other teams in the NFL for sure have great players, and I think that they were a little bit prepared for me in that back half of the season. But I trust our coaches and myself and the work that we've put together as an offense and as a crew here that we'll be ready for any game plan that the defense has for us. Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Wanted to know kind of what this process was like for you. Sounded like the visit went pretty well, good experience from both sides, but what was that like for you and what made you pick the Rams?
Like you said, I've been on a kind of a tour, I would say, like a recruitment trip, seeing maybe 5 teams, and each stop was great. Every step was pretty good. It was a great feeling for here. I met with Coach McVay about a couple of hours, talk a lot of ball. That's what I'm all about. So got a great feel for him. Just always heard great things about him. I had a couple teammates in Buffalo that had been here before, Vaughn and Taylor Rapp. Those guys I always praised about Coach McVay and his staff and just the way that he goes about things. And I was blessed and fortunate enough to get an opportunity to come out and visit, and everything that they said was right on. So it was a good fit. I felt like it was a good fit. We hit it off. It was very authentic, which what I was looking for, being a guy that had been in the league for a while and kind of pretty much know, just a feeling that I had. So it's great staff, young group of guys that's willing to work. So I'm looking forward to it.
What kind of timeline is kind of laid out for you in terms of integrating back into full activity and that kind of stuff?
Just listen to the training staff here. Obviously, these guys, the doctor that did my procedure, he's the team doctor here, so Dr. Elatrash, and then Reggie, he's a great guy, a lot of knowledge about these Achilles things. So just listen to them, listen to the doctor, and also being very transparent with them about how I feel too. So so far it's been good, and I'm on a good track to get going here.
Trey, one of the
Did your experience with the medical staff at all play into your decision to feel comfortable and be here?
I would say, just being able to be closer to my doctor and getting his hands on me as much as possible. With being so far away previously, it was kind of hard traveling back and forth. But I would say that wasn't a deciding factor, but I would say that was a plus because having your doctor here is hands-on and you can just really get to him, and that's definitely a plus to have in this profession.
When news first broke of this signing, one of the things that was reported was you and your agent were comfortable and felt good about the plan that both McVay and Reggie laid out as far as getting you back onto the field at the level you're accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, what can you say about that plan as far as like why you guys felt that way and how that played into this decision?
I was, just like I said, very transparent, just very authentic, and just the plan that they had in place. I'm a guy, very strategic of my approach of how I would want, my rehab to go, being that I've had ACL before and I know how rehab could go. So I was very, just doing my homework. Like I said, this team has rehab guys and been very successful with the Achilles before. So, and that was the thing, like I said, and I just ultimately felt comfortable, with my doctor being here, and a lot warm weather too. It's good for the body. So, yeah.
So, go ahead.
Trey,
Sorry.
did you talk about your role when you're healthy, how they're going to use you in the defense?
We hadn't gotten into that yet, but I just think just being a guy that's seen a lot of ball, I could pretty much fit in pretty much however the team needs me to fit in.
Will you be able to get out there without any mental reservations at all?
Oh, for sure. No, mentally I'm fine. Like I said, I've been through this before, so I kind of know how to, take the highs with the lows, and also just staying level-headed and knowing that rehab don't always go as you plan. It's ebbs and flows to it, but you just always got to stay consistent to the plan that you have. And I think that consistency is the main thing. Just trying to stay on this growth mindset and always trying to go up, not necessarily. You got to ride the waves of it because you never know how it's going to go. But just always keeping a positive mindset, and that's the main thing.
Dr. Elatrash is also known for really more of a modern procedure with Achilles, with Aaron and with Cam Akers and Jonah Bloom as well. And wondered the internal bracing. I'm wondering if you can share anything at all with us, if you're comfortable with that, about what kinds of things you guys talked about and maybe the nature of that.
I would say what he did say, that he did promise me that, with my hard work and dedication and with a great team, that he promised me that I'll be back doing all the things that I've done before. So that was all the hope that I needed, and everything else I can take care of as far as the hard work and just the dedication and the time I put in.
You mentioned the youth of this team. What is kind of your role and what's your mindset when you're around some younger guys and what you do in the locker room?
Just being that, I come from a team, we always had a lot of veteran leadership, even when I got drafted back in 2017. I think that, ultimately you have a quarterback, right? You have two great receivers, you got a great running back. So whenever you have a quarterback, you always have a chance. And as far as on the defense side of the ball, the team did great last year as far as down the stretch, but I didn't get a chance to watch very much, of these games of the Rams. But I know that, just from meeting with them and being around them for the last couple of days, you got a lot of great talent, a lot of guys that's willing to work and putting the time in. And I can just say that I'm coming in and bringing my expertise. I've been playing this game for a long time. It's going into my 8th year, so I feel like, with how I approach the game and just my routine, I think that guys could see that and see why, I've been able to be successful.
And what's that like? Having spent, so many years in one spot and being part of that culture, building that culture, to come to a new place for the first time?
I would say, just from the guys that I had, it's kind of built me up for a moment like this. For if I was able to go to another team, that I would be able to bring those little things that like hanging out together outside the ball, because that was really connects a team. You go through this, right? You go through practice and film study, right? And you practice on film and you watch other people on the field. But once you leave the building, everybody kind of disperse their own way. But if you can have that collective group, you guys can connect outside of the field, even being friends, that just correlates on the field so much better. I was telling one of the younger DBs, is just like Buffalo, I was in a couple of my teammates' weddings, outside the ball, we hang out outside the ball, we take trips together, do stuff like that, because that connectiveness is so much and so important when you're going, especially being on a defensive backfield, just being in the back, because it's so microscopic. I mean, you got to be in the best shape, you got to watch the most film, you got to be the best communicators on the field, because, when you mess up, everybody sees it. You're the last line of defense, right? So I think that being a defensive back, man, is just like you got to be all on one accord. It's like a string, and everybody got to sort of, talk the same language. And I think that if you hang out outside of the field, not even bringing up ball and just getting to know the people that you playing for, that just make you play so much better for them, and they can count on you each and every day. So I think that, if we hang out outside of the field and get to know each other and just be around each other outside of ball, and I think that'll pay off towards the end of the season, because these things get long, right? 18 weeks of ball and just being around each other, you got to kind of decompress and get away from it. And I feel like, if you do that, then, that will ultimately pay off in the end.
So I'm sorry, if you don't mind, one more. I mean, a lot of people, this room included, we've watched you play from afar for a number of years, but what do you want us to know about you, and what do you want the fan base to know about you?
First, this is not my thing, but I would like to say, I mean, like, I'm a down to earth guy. Love to work. I love ball. Love to compete. This is my life. I mean, I put so much time in it, right? Just going into my 8th year. So it's just like, I just want you guys to know that I'm a competitor. I love to compete. I love ball. This is what I'm all about, and I put my blood, sweat, and tears literally into this. And so, like, it's hard for me to get away from, because, even when I'm away from it, I always talk about, so I'm all about ball. So I'm a player that's all about ball, all about getting better each and every day and trying to motivate my teammates, not really by just what I say, but just by what I do, because I feel like the routine that I've developed over these last 7 years, that it's been something that has helped me along the way.
Thanks, Trey.
All right, thank y'all.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back for sure.
Can you kind of take us through what your off-season has looked like so far?
Man, for me, just been prepping for baby boy to be here in July. So we've been trying to get everything together as much as possible, but we won't truly be prepared until we get after him a little bit. So been exciting getting baby ready.
What does it mean to you to be an expecting guy?
Oh, man, I'm excited. I think this is definitely one of my biggest accomplishments, where I'm just super excited for the challenge. Just ready to be a father to someone, lead someone, teach someone. So I'm excited.
What do you think is going to be like without Aaron around, and kind of him passing the torch to you, essentially, as the leader of the defense?
From the moment I got here, this was the goal of mine, to be, this leader of this defense, and I kind of took that torch last year. But, with him being gone now, there's a lot more eyes on me, which I can sure handle. Got a great group of guys that I'm looking forward to leading. We brought in some key parts that I think are going to be real beneficial to us as a team. So when you got a team like that, it's truly easy to lead them because all guys are ready to go. So I'm excited. I'm up for the challenge. Defensively, we're excited about the challenge without AD. We get to go out there and, now it's time for those guys to make a name for themselves. So it's just going to be a great task.
What are your impressions so far of Trey and Cam Curl, and then obviously Darius from
Right.
before? So what is it like having him back, and then your impressions of the other guys?
Been around Trey for about a week now. We've been, growing in our communication, growing in our talking, but I can obviously tell they're going to fit in perfectly, especially in that DB room. That those DBs, they're a wild bunch. So I believe they're going to fit in just perfectly. They're going to go out there and dominate, be excited to learn and be excited, take the next step with that group there.
What is, I know you guys just got here, but what's the transition been between Raheem and now Chris and him taking control of the defense?
Yeah, so today was the first day we heard from Coach Shula, but me personally, I've been fortunate to work with Coach Shula 3 years, 2 of the 3 years. So I just know what type of coach we're getting as far as our leader on our defense, and I feel like schematically we're going to be right where we need to be. We won't be behind, but just excited, man. Excited about him growing in that role, but excited to get different set of ears and a set of voice in that position.
What's Chris like to play for? What's his personality like, both on the field and in the meeting room?
He's steady. No matter what, up or down, he's steady. He's always steady. Super smart, super intelligent. The way he's been able to just transfer my game from a pre-snap position, second to none. And I just think, he's smart. Players love him. I think he's going to fit in perfectly.
We, as a centerpiece of the defense, we've been asking Rams brass throughout the offseason where they consider you in the future,
right,
specifically in terms of a contract extension. Sure. They've indicated that they, at this point, they want to see you play out
for sure
the final year. What's your feeling about that? And I mean, are you content with that?
Oh no, I'm content with whatever. For me personally, I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ, so I know at the end of the day, I'm taken care of. As long as I continue to walk around here and play football at a high level, at the end of this season, I'll have the opportunity to take care of my family in the ways that I want to. But from hearing from their aspect that they want to see me another year, that's exciting for me. I've been doing nothing but proving myself my entire life, so get to do it again. And then at the end of the year, knowing that I got the opportunity to take care of my family in a way that I've always dreamt of, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this opportunity to lead this team, but also looking forward to it from a personal standpoint that play some good ball, you set yourself up real nice. So I'm excited.
Your rookie year was so different because you
right,
were just thrown right into it in Super Bowl, and then second year you're learning from Bobby, third year your locker's right next to Aaron.
Right.
This year, again, Aaron has said, you're going to be taking over, you're the guy. What is that like for you? And when you went back and watched your previous season, what do you want to either change, continue, carry forward, and who do you want to be this year?
I think from personal aspect, I truly just want to be the Ernest Jones I know I'm capable of. To my thinking and the way I am so hard on myself, I don't believe I've played my best football. There's a lot more in the tank. There's a peak that I don't think I've hit yet. So I'm just excited. I've learned from some great guys. 3 years of my life, now it's time for me to be the teacher. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go out and be dominant and submit myself as one of the best.
Especially from a leadership standpoint, in what ways did those guys set an example for you, whether it was the words, actions, combination of both?
AD was always not the biggest vocal unless he had to, but AD was always lead by example. So from AD, you got to see the work he put in, how much he cared about this team, but this defense, this entire organization. So from that aspect, you got to see AD just the work. Bobby's the brain. Bobby had mentally, he was the smartest player I think I've ever been around, smartest guy I think I've ever been around. So it was just great learning things outside of football from him, but also how to be a leader, how to get guys to, get behind the wagon a little bit. So that's what I kind of got from them too.
How about the Gamecocks?
Oh, man. I love those girls, the way they play basketball, man. They're to go 38-0. That's just credit to Dawn Staley and everything that she is as a coach, and you can just obviously tell her players are a direct reflection of who she is as a coach. They work hard. No matter the wins, losses, they're going to be there every night to give you a show. So congrats to them on their championship. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Ernest.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
How we doing?
Good.
Good. All right. What's up?
It's kind of been the energy around the building as you guys have gotten into the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously only been here for 4 hours, but you know, it was a good first day. Sean came in, juiced up. Good team meeting. Kind of talked about some of the foundations that we're going to start here laying in the off season, and you know, got some new faces in the room. So you know, trying to create those relationships. I know a bunch of guys reach out in the off season and text back and forth, but you know, you can't get a good understanding of someone unless you're face to face. So yeah, it was a good first day. Guys are working, get ready to go, and ready to attack this off season.
These workouts are voluntary, but historically, especially during your time here, this team has had pretty good attendance. What do you attribute that to, and why do you think that's the case?
Well, first things first, football's fun. It's a fun thing to do. You know, obviously the NFL is a job and it comes a lot with it, but at the end of the day, we're playing a game, and this game's fun. It's good to be around the guys. It's good to be back here lifting, cracking jokes, getting after it, competing, doing all the right things the right way, and just, especially at the end of the day, like I said, competing, because that's just something you can't really get. You're working out on your own. Obviously, you can have guys in your group, but someone on your team with a common goal, trying to reach something and doing it together is something special about that. So, first things first is it's just fun, and then you know, guys like Matthew and myself and a lot of the older guys on defense and Ernest, you know, coming into a leadership role there. It's guys want to be here. We want to be around. We think, you know, leading from the front's kind of the way to go, and so it's you know, always something on the back of your mind.
Rob, what did you make of the Rams' moves in free agency, extending Kevin and then also bringing in Jonah?
Yeah, no, obviously very excited to have my guy K-Dot back. You know, when he came in, I thought he did a great job. Not only, you know, trying to catch up as fast as possible, but then just his physical nature of play, the way he goes about, talks about football, it's very similar. The way I understand it, and then even if there's little differences, we're able to communicate back and forth to kind of, you know, meet common ground. And that's something that's really important in an offensive line, especially with the guy you're playing next to. And then bringing in a guy like Jonah, you know, Pro Bowler, you know, his resume speaks for itself. You know, seems like an awesome guy. You know, I was just excited to get to, you know, continue to get to know him. And, you know, I've been a fan of his for a while, kind of watching him on film. You know, you see some guys and, you know, go over technique stuff, and he always seems to be doing it the right way and, you know, playing the game the right way. And, you know, just real excited to have him in the room.
As somebody who is, you've always been a communicator since you've been here on that, but with Steve moving over to center, what do you guys need from him as a group as he continues to kind of like integrate into this newer role? Yeah,
we need Steve to be Steve. We don't need Steve to be Coleman Shelton or Brian Allen or, you know, John Sullivan of the past. We don't need him to be anyone else but Steve. You know, there's going to be a learning aspect of Steve moving from left guard to center. In our offense, the center's asked to do a lot. But it doesn't just, like Sean mentioned this in our offensive line meeting today, this doesn't just fall on Steve to make sure every call's right, to get every look correct. We're all working as a unit, quarterback included. And obviously Matthew does, you know, he's been around the game long enough. He knows, you know, he's seen everything, knows everything, super smart guy. Wouldn't want it, you know, anyone else back there. But it's not just Steve. It's not just on him. Everyone else is learning and growing together. Steve moving to a new position in the NFL. You know, obviously going to help him out with that. But we just need Steve to be Steve. Continue growing the way he's been growing, the same growth that we had from when he was in OTAs to training camp and then throughout the season. I thought he did a great job. He's continuing to do a great job. He's been, me and him hopped on a couple calls to kind of go over some like defensive stuff, and I know he was putting in some extra time for meetings and going over defensive structures and kind of what to expect and really where to look on a defense. Because if you look and you see the whole picture just right away and you see everything, it kind of blinds you a little bit. But start looking at little details. They're going to help you out, figure out what's going on. And all that's just a learning process. We don't expect it today. I don't expect it tomorrow. I don't expect it by the end of OTAs. It'll be same thing in training camp. We'll just keep building and building and building. And I think Steve's going to do a great job.
You have spent your whole career, although I guess during off-season workouts he's not been there, but with Aaron in the same locker room.
Yep.
What do you think it's going to be like without him, and how do you guys make up for that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't replace an Aaron Donald. You know, he's, in my opinion, the greatest defensive player to ever play. I mean, I think his resume speaks for himself, and obviously that presence is going to be missed. But with the way he's gone about, especially in his last 5 years, we'll say, as he's gotten older, and just the way he's brought guys along and taught them tricks and taught them little tips, like his presence is not going to be just not felt anymore now that he's not in the building. He's cemented his legacy into this place, into this organization, into the D-line room, into me, into everyone who's been around him. One, with just the way he works, the way he gets after it, the way he pursues greatness. That's something that everyone can see first and foremost. But then if you're lucky enough to have a conversation with him and talk to him, that's something that is brought in just by his relentless pursuit. So it'll obviously be a little different, but once again, there's no replacing Aaron. There's just younger guys taking a bigger step.
As you're the longest tenured guy now, right?
Yep.
So do you get like a parking spot? Is there an honor that's bestowed upon you now, or?
I think a couple more gray hairs, but that's about it. No, yeah, it's I know it's a cool stat, but it doesn't come with any perks, I guess.
Every season's different, but with the success that you had last year, how do you kind of continue to kind of build on that?
Yeah, I've said this for a couple of years, and like I said, no two teams are going to be the same, and that's there's obviously there's success that teams have, and that's kind of the way you go about your culture. And I think Sean bringing in and the way he talked about in his team meeting today about what he knows in order to how to be successful, and how we build those foundations, how we go about our days, how we act, how we compete, how we urgently attack success, everything that goes into that. And then it's up to the players, the leaders, and everyone in this building to go ahead and start over, to start fresh, because we have done nothing to this point in the 2024 NFL season, right? And then you start building. So the success is for the team and the culture, but then you got to rebuild that culture and kind of find those identifiers of what this team is going to be, and then go from there.
And then with Steve, you mentioned that he's not going to be ready to play a game at that position. It's going to take time.
Well, I'm not ready to play a game right now either, so.
How do you speed up that development for him? I mean, obviously it's reps, but how do you help him kind of progress quickly?
Yeah, I mean, the same way if he was still playing left guard. Obviously he had a really good rookie campaign at left guard, but if he was still playing left guard, it would be the same way. You talk with him, you communicate. Anything good I have to say, he can take. Anything good other guys in the room have to say, he can take. Jonah's played a lot of good ball, and obviously playing next to him. It's just communicating and just continuing to learn, because you've never really arrived in this game. You can always get better. You can always do something a little cleaner. And so it's with him. It's just obviously it's going to be reps, and it's going to be kind of looking at the game a little differently now that you're a center and not a left guard, but at the end of the day, it's just continuing to learn, continuing to grow. So there's not too much change that's going to be there. I mean, it's still offensive line play.
Hey, Rob, first of all, not calling you old at all. But we see what a toll the season takes on all of you guys, and your tenure and all of that. You've seen some captains, some colleagues, kind of face their own career mortality, and recently with Aaron and then with Whit before that. I guess I wonder, what keeps you coming back, and why do you keep coming back to this?
It's kind of like the question I answered with Stu here before. It's at the end of the day, it's fun. It's a fun game. I mean, we literally play a children's game for lots of money, and we get to do fun stuff, and get to be around a group of men and support staff and everyone who's kind of focused on a single goal, and it's a fun game to play. And as soon as I stop having fun playing the game, I won't be playing. But football is the greatest team sport. You can't do it alone. Obviously, Father Time's going to come for us all. But push that back as long as you can, as long as I'm still having fun. And, especially with the way these coaches go about their business, it's a fun place to play football. It's a great environment to play football. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
All right.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.